Hi, this is Ronnie, and welcome to my channel and the Scrap 5 Challenge. Today, there will be several of us all using the same list, and this is a list. I picked it this month, and it's stitching, faux hand or machine, something old from your stash, long title, 2 photos, punch, or a die. And I'm going to scrap those 2 pictures there of my granddaughter and 2 grandsons. And see, that is something old. Those alphas there, those alpha stickers. They came in a kit, I guess, somewhere or another, because it said not to be sold individually on the back, because I thought I'd look for a year. But I've had them a very long time. And I'm also going to use a brad. And it was called something. It's metal. You'll be seeing it later. I'll plan on using one, and then when it actually comes time to put it on the page, I'll pick a different one. I have a bunch, not just those 2. Uh, I'm adding my photos, and I'm doing with the yellow. And yes, I cut into a 12 by 12 piece of paper, well, cardstock. It's thin cardstock, though. It's some older cardstock I had. So when I put this paper right here on it, I am not going to try to save any, which I could have to use for my picture, but both are thin, and I decided just to go ahead and cut into the other paper anyway. Here I'm using a punch, because punch or die is on the list. And of course, 2 photos are, so I have my 2 photos. And I'm just using a scallop punch. And this, since long title's on the list, this is my favorite way to use a long title. That way I've got plenty of room for it, and it can stand out better. I'm putting that strip underneath there, but then you see that other little piece laying there on the right-hand side. I'm going to put it alongside of that. And it calls for stitching on the list, and I'm going to put my stitching on it. And I am going to cover part of it up, so I don't have to stitch all the way down it. But it'll look like maybe that I did by the time I get done. And my cardstock, I think, is a little less, well, I know it is because I measured it. I put it over there on the mat there and measured it, and it's a little less than 12 inches. That paper is a perfect 12 inches, but the cardstock's a tiny, tiny bit less. I wanted to use this. It was a 3x4 cut apart, and I had fussy cut a whole bunch of stuff in that bowl. Oh, one night while I was watching TV. And see the butterflies? I done them a different night. I did the animals one night and did the butterflies another night. I was sitting up cutting and supposedly watching TV, and I kept dozing off. About the 3rd time around, I decided I just needed to quit, because what if I fell asleep and somehow poked myself in the eye with the scissors? That's crazy. But yeah, I just kept dozing off. I just could not hold my eyes open. My head would tilt down. And I'd think, oh, I did it again. So I quit fussy cutting, but I've got plenty there. So we're all right if I need any. I'm not going to use any on this layout either. So yeah, I've still got some for a different layout. I'm putting my title down, and since it's supposed to be a long title, and I use those very old alphas, and they're just so big that I just kind of put off using them each time. And she is fast like a cheetah, yet pulled quickly to a halt. And the reason being pulled quickly to a halt, even though there was 3 teenagers and 2 adults, those 2 little kids were pretty fast. And so they had this little kid on one of those child leash things, where she couldn't get away. She couldn't run, and they would have to chase her, because they have chased her. My son's pretty fast. He's like 6'4", and he could really move. But that way they wouldn't have to. They just pull her to a halt if she started to. And from what I understand, she learned pretty quickly that it was no good to even try. But yeah, that's my title, and I'm putting that one. I wanted to make sure you could see the halter thing that she has on front and back. So she has it on, and she is not going to get away from them at all. She's only 2 here, so it's not like she's very old. She's a lot better. I mean, she's only 2.5 now. She's a lot better. Well, I guess she's 3 now. I don't know what I was thinking. She is 3 now. She is 3 in December. So yeah, she's a lot better now about staying right there with them. And if they holler at her to stop without going, it might be that halter and leash thing. I don't know. She don't want it back on. Maybe that's it. I put my little sloth up there. I had to use him. He was just so cute. And I'd already cut the monkey out because I had some other old alphas that I was thinking about using. Then I ran across these, and they were a bunch of zoo quotes. And one of them was Our Little Monkey. So my title was going to be Our Little Monkey is Fast Like a Cheetah, Yet Pull Back Quickly. But then I found these and I thought, which one do I want? And I finally decided on these because they went more with the colors that I had. The others didn't go quite as well, but I was going to work with them. And so, yeah, I used these instead. But I already had the monkey cut out, so I decided I was going to go ahead and use him on there. And see here, I changed my mind on the one with the monkey and the zoo and decided to use the little elephant instead. And I had to dump out all those little brads because they're a variety. Like one's set as flowers, and I don't remember what else, but I needed the 2 black circle ones so that I could do the eyes. And this is the thread that I picked, and it matches really good with that yellow cardstock. And I am just going to do a back stitch all the way down through there. Like I said, I covered up with the monkey in the picture so I wouldn't have as much stitching to do. Yet I'd give the impression that I had more stitches there. But yeah, I wanted to go over the end of the paper. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But this one I wanted to go over the end of the paper and just get it all the way down. And this is my last of my stitches, tying a knot, throw a little, well, I didn't throw no glue on there. I thought I did. I usually throw a little glue on there. But I pulled out my list so I could go over everything again and point out that I do have everything on there already. I have my stitching. I have something old for my stash, which is 2 things actually. I mean, very old things. And long title, 2 photos, punch, or a die. So now I can just add things and yeah, just do whatever I want because I got my Scrap 5 list done. And everybody's going to be using the same Scrap 5 list. So be sure and check out the links below to see what all they did with their list. And here, that says memories. And look at me. I threw it right over there in that bowl and I put adhesive on it. Oh, I didn't even notice that till I was watching the video. But I remembered before I stuck it on there that I wanted to put Born to be Wild since she can be a handful sometimes. And I'm going to put this tiger on there. I already had him cut out. I had it planned to put, well, my whole layout in my head was completely different from what I ended up doing. And I had it planned to put him with that giraffe and hippopotamus. But then I changed my mind because his tail hung down so low. Where I planned on putting it before, it didn't matter, but it did matter where they're at now. But I thought they'd show up so much better there where I had planned. And oh, if you noticed that like the foam tape on the cheetah was kind of on the dark side. And some of the other things, like if I was turning it over and putting adhesive on it, you've seen dark. It's because I went around everything with a marker to get rid of the white. And then if I put foam tape on it, I went around the foam tape because I planned on putting it on darker paper. And since I didn't, it just looked dirty. But it looks fine now that it's on the page because you can't tell that that stuff's on there. Oh, this one says Stand Tall, and it's with a pink flamingo. But I decided to put it there with my giraffe. I had some red like everywhere else here and there. So I wanted to get some red there, and the stand tall seemed to work pretty good, so I'm putting stand tall on there. And now, guess what I am doing? I am fussy cutting out those little teeny tiny butterflies. I think they took longer to cut out than the bigger pieces did. I did cut most of it out. I did the start and the finish of the cutting because, yeah, they took a while. I had to be very careful and very slow. And this one's the bird. I debated whether or not to cut him out because, I already cut the 3 butterflies out. And I was like, should I or shouldn't I? It don't really look like the bird that gets on the back of hippopotamuses, you know, hippopotami. I don't know which one's the plural. Anyway, gets on their back and helps clean them because I think they're like a little yellow bird. But I said go for it anyway, so I stuck him on there. And I did put foam tape on him, and then his tail's like adhered right to the hippopotamus. And I decided I also needed another texture on here, so I put the enamel dots. But yeah, that's it. That's my layout. Be sure to check all the other gals below and see what they did with their Scrap 5. I love doing Scrap 5. I love having a list of things that I have to get on my layout. Even though I made this list, I had to double check the list. Like it didn't come naturally. I had to make sure I got everything on here and stuck to the list. But that's it. That's my layout. And here's the close-ups, and there's the cheetah. And those letters were so big, I had to overlap each of them, to get them fit on there. And I thought about doing some foam tape on some, but then I changed my mind since I was going to put the cheetah. Well, I already had the cheetah on foam tape. And there's my 2 pictures with the tiger and the monkey and the Born to Be Wild. And there's that Brad. I forget what they were called. I had stored them in this little drawer and I didn't have the packaging, but they're cute. But I've got quite a few and I've only used 2 now. The other time I used them was a pair of ballet shoes. And I still have another pair because everything comes in 2s on that bunch of stuff. But yeah, I got 2 old things on my layout. So thank you all so much for watching. If you leave a comment below, I'll get back with you. If you like the video and hit a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, I'd love to have you subscribe. And all of those who are, thank you so much. And also thanks for the lovely comments that I get below. Makes my day. But have a happy, scrappy week. And take care and stay safe. Bye.